Hey folks, and happy 4th of July to our American viewers. It is Friday, July 4th. 6:04 p.m. is the time, and the temperature is about 25 degrees Celsius, and it feels a little bit warmer than that. And I'm here at the intersection of Yonge and College. Well, College on this side of the intersection. It is Carlton Street on the other side. As I turn south down Yonge Street. But for this one, I'll be making my way over to the east side of downtown. Maybe walking down the middle of the street with your suitcase isn't the best of ideas. I have a friend who just moved into a brand new condo, or at least it's new to him. I'm not sure if he's the first occupant or not. But that is over in Regent Park. So I'll be meeting him to check out the new place. We'll be having a few drinks. And it looks like those security guards were waiting for something. Perhaps someone just popped into College Park they're looking for. I'm gonna go see his new condo, have a drink, and then we're gonna go out for dinner. And those will be my Friday night plans. I was hoping to go out and do a nightlife walk. Haven't really done one this summer or spring lately, or yet, but we'll have to see how I'm feeling after this. I went out and live streamed earlier today. I think this one will take about 35-40 minutes or so to get there. There's College Park on the right. Maybe what I'll do, because I didn't really think of the route, is we'll just walk along Dundas the whole way. I know last week I walked along Dundas East for a few blocks between Yonge and Jarvis, so I apologize for duplicating those efforts a little bit. And I really think that'll be the most interesting route to get there. As we get to Yonge and Gerrard, there's a future super tall, one of 3 under construction on Yonge Street. The one up at Yonge and Bloor recently surpassed 1,000 feet, giving it super tall status. This one has a ways to go. And the pinnacle down near Queen's Quay is quickly getting up to that status. $1.99 for a cup of fruit. There's the iconic Zanzibar storefront or facade. I've never actually been inside there, believe it or not. Some other venues in the city, no comment. Barbarian Steakhouse just over there on Elm. It's a big day down south. Canada Day, of course, was 3 days ago.
I'll do that right away.
Ja, so schön knapp, ne?
I looked into her and she said
They can just fire them and rehire a new person at any time.
Never a dull moment on Yonge. Earlier today, Taco Bell was set up at Dundas Square, handing out free nacho fries. I wonder if they're still there. There's definitely a noticeable influx of tourists at this time of year.
Top 10 fastest walking.
Once or twice a year.
Let's get through the scramble crossing here. A lot of busking going on as usual, right in front of the Eaton Center. There's someone's leftover nacho fries. Guess they weren't too fond of them. This is Dundas Square. And it looks like Taco Bell has wrapped up their giveaway. There was a decent lineup there earlier. I finished my live stream here. You know what? I was on that side of the street last time I came this way. So now you're going to notice a definite change in pedestrian activity. Further I go east. There's the once iconic Sam the Record Man sign. I say once iconic because it's kind of an afterthought now, just being stuck up there. It would have been better if it was left as part of its original facade, one way or the other. As we get to Victoria Street. Just having a casual conversation with a driver who's parked in the middle of the street. Maybe they know them. That's TMU University across the street, school formerly known as Ryerson. Wonder if they're going to get honked at. Got a green light. Oh, that was an accident, it looks like. I thought she probably gave him a little love tap in the back. Oh yeah. Back of that Honda is bashed in pretty good. There's the patio at the Imperial. Almost always the driver behind is at fault. You're supposed to leave a safe enough distance that you can brake.
Okay, alright.
An exception to that could be if the vehicle made a sudden lane change in front of you and it wasn't fully in the lane when you hit it. All the more reason to have a dash cam. So people jawing at one another across the street. Last Friday, almost around this time, I was in the spot setting up for a walk through the Pride Festival. I just stood next to that building digging out my camera gear, and I was approached by someone asking if I was waiting for him. And I was like, no. And he's like, well, this is the spot where people stand if they're waiting for me. Can you please leave? And I just decided it's not worth the effort. So I told him I'd be out of there rather soon. And I think I figured out what he was looking for. Sorry, not the kind of transaction I was looking for.
Chinese 10% already.
As we get to church in Dundas. So I'm just going to stay in Dundas, and this is going to lead us all the way into the Regent Park neighborhood, one undergoing a massive redevelopment. In that last video, I walked along Dundas. I went north at Jarvis Street, which is coming up in a few blocks. That streetcar says 512 short turn on it. That's a St. Clair streetcar? That can't be right. To Leslie? That is not a 512 St. Clair streetcar. What's even the point? I know there's a festival on St. Clair that's running tomorrow, Salsa on St. Clair. And it says short turn. Where is it short turning? Leslie? If you can make sense of that down in the comments, let me know. But to me, someone done screwed up. I would say after this next intersection, there's a noticeable turning point on the east side of downtown. Things get a little bit interesting, you could say. This area north of Queen, but south of Carlton, is known as the Garden District. And once I get east of Sherbourne, we'll be leaving the Garden District. And it looks like there's a mammoth tower slated for that lot. 3 of the 4 corners of this intersection have been redeveloped in very recent years. Aisle 24 Market. There's Fillmore's. Another establishment I can't say I've been to. Although that one is running on borrowed time, as there'll be a shiny new condo going up on that lot. Toronto's ultimate gentleman's club, #1 for stags and bottle service. Well, it's certainly one of the few that are left. It'll be interesting to see how this next area or next intersection in the surrounding area transforms over the coming years. I think the current reputation could be described as sketchy. But development pressure has pushed new condos this far east. Friends of Ruby. Moe's Bike Shop. normally you won't find fences and gates in front of homes, but this is one area where you will see that. In fact, that's a seniors living home across the street there, and there was so much loitering in front of it, they applied with the city to get an exception to a bylaw allowing them to install that gate, and it was granted. I'm going to err on the side of caution and cross to the north side of the street here. This is Sherburne and Dundas. But there would be a whole lot of people here loitering. It wouldn't be uncommon to see police cars and other emergency vehicles in this area all throughout the day. I've never felt uneasy or unsafe in these neighborhoods, but sometimes it's smarter just to be a little proactive. And there's a lot of beautiful homes on some of these residential streets. The Century Lofts. All those condos ahead on the right are where I am heading. That's Regent Park. Any cars coming? No. This stretch of Dundas has always felt like it's had the life sucked out of it. But believe it or not, it picks up once we get to Regent Park. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that neighborhood once we get there. This is Parliament Street coming up. So you could go north here and head up into the heart of Cabbagetown, or you could go south and head down towards the distillery. That's neat, a little accessibility lift. That was a community center for women, and there's the Toronto Council Fire Native Cultural Center. As you can see, this area is definitely rough around the edges, but people are mostly friendly. Everyone's just trying to do the same thing, get by. I wonder if this will be my buddy's new grocery store, this Freshco. It's a lower cost grocery store. As we are now in Regent Park. You could call this a dynamic and evolving neighborhood. It was built as a master plan community, designed to attract young professionals, but the problem is that came around the time in the 50s when there was a flight to the suburbs. I think it was actually established in the late 40s, and a lot of young professionals looking to start families and purchase their first property fell for the dream of the white picket fence and the suburbs. So what was affordable housing intended to cater to that young professional market and the young working class quickly devolved into what you could describe as a slum. It's not the nicest of terms, but it is what it is. And starting in the mid-2000s, Regent Park underwent a massive multi-phase redevelopment plan. That was led by the Toronto Community Housing Corporation. And a lot of the public units were replaced by new geared to income rental units, and people in existing units were temporarily relocated. And that process is still going on, as it's still in the last, I think, phase or the second last phase of redevelopment, where those tenants will be moved back into a much newer and more modern unit at comparable rents. Some have criticized that the newer units are smaller, but it seems like a fair trade-off. And Regent Park itself is just here on the left with the big aquatic center that opened in 2012. And this is the street my friend moved to, Regent Park Boulevard, I believe. But what's going on here? Cultural Bazaar, jewelry, clothes, and more, 2 to 8 p.m. We have a fire truck coming this way. I think that's his building there over on the corner. This part of Dundas Street has these nice wide bike lanes. Every Friday, it says every Fridays. Cultural bazaar, everyone is welcome. Well, that's in chalk. Maybe someone should go erase that S with their finger. It kind of still feels like a master plan community, and these tend not to age well. But hopefully there's enough retail and character in this one. But that's not the case. Nelson Mandela Public School is straight ahead. And there's a big athletic field with an outdoor skating rink just to the southeast of here. There is the building. It's also worth noting the somewhat fantastic St. Lawrence neighborhood is just south of here. It's got a Subway, a Timmy's, a Yonge College, an Enterprise, and it's connected to the George Brown campus. That's a local college that has a number of buildings all over the place. All those entrances. Had letters on the doors. I think a lot of these buildings are mixed between the community housing and the market rate units. So if you're in the community housing, you may be going in through a separate entrance. I'm not sure. I know that's the case at some buildings. And correction, it's Nelson Mandela Park Public School. But I'll have to come back and do a more detailed walk around Regent Park at some point, perhaps on my next trip to this guy. There's an active soccer field over there, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. I'm going to see if he'll let me do a condo tour. If you wish to support what I do, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I've got an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing down below if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink!